Good afternoon. My name is Melina Corona. I work for Build It Green, and thank you very much for joining us at the Home Upgrade Program Overview webinar. I'm joined today by Joanne Panchana from PG&E. She will take you through the new Home Upgrade Program for Energy Upgrade California. Joanne, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Melina. And as Melina said, thank you all for joining us during your lunch hour. Hopefully you can eat and listen at the same time. As she mentioned, my name is Joanne Panchana. I am the program manager at PG&E, responsible for our Energy Upgrade California program. And we're here today to talk about our new exciting offering, the Home Upgrade Program. For those of you who attended the EUC Contractor Exchange on Tuesday, or our webinar yesterday morning, the content is going to be pretty much the same, but you're obviously welcome to join in again. And my hope for today is really to have maybe about 20 minutes of presentations, maybe a little bit more, depending on how verbose I'm feeling today, and then a good amount of time for Q&A so we can make sure to answer all your questions. I would like to caveat that this is kind of the overview, high level, and there will be a lot more details forthcoming. This is just intended to give you a general idea about how the program is working. I will be holding questions until the end, but please, as we're going along, if you have a question and you want to kind of get it in the queue, please use the chat function, and we'll go ahead and start with those questions that are in that. With that, we'll go ahead and, Melina, if you could advance the next slide for me. So, I assume many of you are aware of the existing Basic Path program that has been offered through Energy Upgrade California for the last several years. As many of you are aware, for a variety of reasons, that particular program offering has not been very successful and actually is about 3% of the total jobs program to date. So with that lack of success, when we were really hoping for that program to be an entryway for both customers and contractors into home performance, the IOUs, PG&E included, the Regional Energy Networks, California Public Utilities Commission, started late last fall to reevaluate how we can improve the program by taking into account learnings from the Basic Path, the Advanced Path, the ERA-funded Flex Path, and programs going on across the country. And so over the last 6+ months, we've been putting those learnings together, working extensively with a variety of stakeholders, and have come up with the program that I'm here to discuss with you today. We have some overarching framework that we all determined were most important and for which this program, the Home Upgrade Program, is based on. The first of which is to increase program accessibility, particularly to moderate income customers. As many of you are probably aware, our average job cost for the advanced program has been teetering somewhere between $14,000 and $15,000, which is great from a perspective of improving and increasing sales. However, it does significantly limit the number of customers and the type of customers that can participate in the program. Second is to require at least 3 energy efficiency measures. In order to drive a comprehensive whole house approach, we realize that the single measures is not effective, and 3 seems like the magic number to drive towards the minimum level of comprehensiveness. Additionally, we'll be providing scaled or tiered incentives, so that allows people to do the level of work that they need or that they can afford, while getting incentives to drive towards more measures and higher levels of efficiency. Fourth, the program is built to support the preferred building loading order, being that building shell and envelope improvements should generally occur before system improvements such as HVAC or water heating. Fifth, that the program will support appropriate combustion appliance safety testing, and I'll go into that in a little bit more details on a few slides. And finally, and this is a very important note, that complex and deep retrofits should continue to leverage diagnostic testing and the advanced path. This home upgrade program that I'm talking about today does not impact or replace the advanced path. The advanced home upgrade program will continue in its current state throughout our service territory. So with that, we can go on to the next slide. So next I'm going to go through some of the high-level program requirements. As I mentioned earlier, there are a lot more details behind all of these, and we will be holding subsequent webinars and updating various documents so that you can learn the details in order to submit jobs. But in general, one of the things that we wanted to do to increase accessibility, hopefully reducing the time it takes contractors and the cost that they then pass to the customer, we are limiting diagnostic testing on test in and test out to based on the measures. For example, duct sealing will still require a duct blaster to prior to sealing and after to verify the leakage reduction. And whole building air sealing will require a blower door to also validate that reduction in leakage. In terms of combustion appliance safety testing, it's going to be similar to what, or almost identical to what we have currently, that a BPI, Building Performance Institute certified professional must, or a staff member in a BPI accredited company must perform the combustion appliance safety at both test in and test out. This person must follow the PG&E safety protocols and have taken the advanced training and use the same CAS testing forms and acknowledgement forms that are currently in practice today. And similar to the existing programs, we're going to continue our tiered in-field quality assurance that's aligned with advanced program requirements, and continue to offer in-field mentoring sessions. Every contractor has 5. And those can be paired with at test out and count as a quality assurance visit to minimize the impact on the customer. I would like to note that any contractors who are in higher tiers or lower inspection rate tiers, that same tier will apply to the home upgrade program. So that those tiers and the movement within those based on the results of quality assurance are the same for both the home upgrade and advanced program for PG&E. We can go ahead to the next slide. All right, so I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you, but I really did want to highlight some of the program benefits. I talked initially about the impetus for developing this new program because there were things that we weren't accomplishing with the existing basic path. So a lot of these program benefits were the direct intention of the redesign, and we really hope that these add a lot of value to our participating contractors and customers. First, the program is designed to motivate contractors to sell and customers to install building shell measures. Specifically, we know that there are thousands, tens of thousands of HVAC, water heater replacements going on throughout the state every day. If we can tap into just a little bit of that market and start the conversation with customers to add on some home performance measures such as air sealing, duct sealing, etc., onto those replacements, not only can we increase the comfort and energy savings of our customers, but hopefully we can start bringing them down that path of home performance. So that market is certainly an area that we hope that this program targets. Additionally, we think it will be a better fit for contractors' business models, and it will better allow the integration of single trade contractors such as HVAC or insulation or plumbing contractors. We already have the fast track process in place for the advanced path, and to further streamline the application process as a whole, the home upgrade program does not require any pre-application submission or notice to proceed. As long as the contractor ensures the customer is eligible and installs the measures per program guidelines, they just have to submit the documentation at the end of the job for rebate processing. And last, at least on the slide, but certainly not least, is this program, the home upgrade program, requires no energy modeling by the contractor. We did that to really limit the impact and make the job application process easier. And instead of requiring the contractor to do that, we have on the back end done a lot of calculations to come up with an average or deemed savings per measure based on energy modeling that we then came up with the points, and I'll get into that in a few more slides. If you go ahead to the next slide. All right. So I know that everyone on the phone is probably very eager to see what the measures are, what the points are, and what it means for them. But before we get to that, I want to give you a little bit of context about how we came up with this, the points and the measures that we selected. So our initial set of measures are relatively finite to get us started, and they are based on the most commonly installed measures programmed to date, and encompassing the key building shell and system measures that we believe are most popular. And going forward, I'll get into more details a little bit later, is that the measures will be, more measures will be added and measures will be adjusted in the future to further expand the offering to customers and contractors. As I mentioned earlier, we have tiered incentives that can allow a variety of installation packages. The incentives that we have developed are based on points, as you'll see in a minute, and those points were developed based on the weighted average energy savings percentage by measure, and these numbers are actually statewide to make it easier for marketing purposes, communications, and for any contractors who bridge utility or regional energy network territories. We must install at least 3 measures, including 1 base measure, which I'll get to again in the next slide. The upgrade measures must equal at least 100 points or more to qualify, and for each additional 50 points, the customer will receive additional $500 up to $2,500. And while we don't plan to do this initially, additional points may be added regionally if there's a measure that gets uniquely high savings for that particular territory. So we'll go ahead on to the next slide, and I'll show you the base measures. So here, as you can see, we have a list of our base measures. These were developed really focusing on those measures that affect the building shell and the envelope and that we think should be a priority. These include duct sealing, duct replacement, 2 levels of whole building air sealing, attic insulation, and sealing of the attic plane. Since these measures are very important, we really wanted customers to install as many of them as possible, but given some learnings from past programs, we didn't want to be restrictive, so we're really going for more of a carrot rather than a stick approach here. And so while you do have to do 1 base measure, if you decide to do 2, in addition to the points associated with that measure, you get a base measure kicker of 15 points. If you decide to do 3 of the base measures, you can get, in addition to the points associated with the measure, you get the 15 points for the second base measure and the 20 points, so a total of 35 points as a kicker to really try to promote installation of those measures. All right, could we go ahead to the next one? All right, so those are the base measures. Now I'll show you the flex measures. So these are the additional measures in addition to at least one of the measures from the previous slide the customer can add to meet those 3 measure requirements. And that includes shell measures such as wall insulation, floor, and duct insulation, the HVAC systems, furnace, and air conditioner, and our water heating, gas storage water heaters. There's 2 levels. In PG&E service territory, we're actually only offering the 0.67 energy factor. And then we also have gas on demand or tankless water heaters and electric storage water heaters. Go ahead to the next slide. So to give you an idea of how the rebates and points stack up from home upgrade to advanced, we put together this graphic. Hopefully it's not overly confusing. But as you can see, starting at 100 points and up to 250 points, the home upgrade gets $1,000 to $2,500. And you can see that compared to advanced home upgrade, where we're still promoting the deep energy savings, and you can get higher rebates of up to $4,500. I'll get into it a few slides later, but I would like to point out a few caveats of the home upgrade program that we're launching with this communication is available in PG&E service territory, excluding the 9-county Bay Area. And then the advanced is offered throughout our service territory. Go ahead to the next slide. All right, so I know that we flashed over those points pretty quickly, and you're all sitting there trying to add up what your packages might look like or how much it would take to get to a rebate value. So we went ahead and gave you a few different scenarios here. So you have what we think will probably be some pretty common packages. although you can mix and match depending on the customer's need. For example, a heating package might include your 92% AFUE plus furnace, would get 45 points, duct sealing on existing system for 15 points, and whole building air sealing reduction of 30% would get you 30 points. And then since you did both duct sealing and air sealing, which are two of the base measures, you get a kicker of 15 points. And you can see how that would relate to a potential air conditioning or insulation or water and space heating package. And what we're really hoping this program enables contractors to do is really put together and price out options that are easily marketed to customers based on a clear understanding of what the rebate, expected rebate will be, instead of having to wait for those energy models and verifications. With that, we can go to the next slide. All right, contractor requirements for participation. So they are almost identical to the existing contractor requirements for the basic and advanced paths. A few slight differences are the contractor has to have a valid license appropriate to scope. So we are broadening it a little to offer additional single trade contractors. And if they are not an advanced home upgrade contractor, they do need to attend a home upgrade training, which is currently similar to the basic path training. However, all existing advanced and basic or basic only participating contractors that are in good standing are automatically eligible to offer the home upgrade program, so no additional requirements need to be met. This is mostly focusing on new enrolling contractors. Go ahead to the next slide. And for customer eligibility, similar to the existing basic, the home upgrade program is focused on single-family detached homes, and 2 to 4 unit buildings are still eligible and should go through the advanced home upgrade program. The customer must receive gas and or electric service from an investor-owned utility. So that means that for the area that PG&E covers, like Sacramento, where you have SMUD providing electricity and PG&E providing the gas, those customers would be eligible for the gas measures such as furnaces, water heaters, and the gas and electric measures such as insulation, air sealing, but would not be eligible if PG&E does not provide the electricity for items such as an air conditioner or an electric storage water heater. However, in areas like our southern territory that we share with SoCal Gas, the customers will be eligible for the full amount for any of the measures, since they're both investor-owned utilities. Another caveat is similar to the existing requirements, customers with propane appliances inside the home are not eligible to participate. However, I'll get to some exciting new steps for that at the end of the presentation. Additionally, a customer must use a participating contractor or contractors to perform the upgrade, and they must ensure and certify that proper permits are pulled. Please go on to the next slide. So a little bit of information about the transition and then the geography where the PG&E home upgrade program is being offered. So first of all, for existing basic package jobs, we're asking that they be completed and submitted to Build a Green by July 15th. If for some reason you have a job that's in progress or that you're close to closing on that you don't think will be done in time, please contact Build a Green as soon as possible, and we can work with you to make sure that that customer receives their incentive. As far as geography, as I mentioned earlier, PG&E will not be offering the home upgrade program within the 9-county Bay Area. The newly formed Bay Area Regional Energy Network, or BayREN, will be implementing a program that's very similar to the program I just described. Actually, that program I just described is similar to what's going to be implemented by the various regional energy networks and utilities. And for those of you who work in the Bay Area, I'll walk through what counties are included in that, kind of circling around the Bay. That includes Marin County, Sonoma County, Napa County, Solano, Contra Costa, Alameda, Santa Clara, San Mateo, and San Francisco. And that should be 9. And in those regions, BayREN will be implementing the home upgrade program. And Outside of that area, PG&E will be implementing it through Build It Green. And as I mentioned before, the Advanced Home Upgrade Program is unchanged and will be continued to offer throughout PG&E service territory, including the Bay Area. Go on to the next slide. So we talked about what's existing currently. I want to give you a bit of a preview of what will be coming this year, later in the year. So we do plan currently to expand the measure selection in a couple different ways. We want to add additional tiers for furnaces, such as a 94, maybe even a 96% AFUE. I have another tier for the higher SEER level for AC, and have a higher R value for attic insulation, air sealing, so that you can choose the different levels and get higher points if you and your customer want to go with a higher efficiency. We also be adding measures such as windows and heat pumps, and have a few other measures on the table, and are willing to consider other options going forward. Another exciting piece that will be coming out hopefully this summer is allowing the customers to sign over the rebates to the contractor, allowing the contractor to deduct that rebate value from the initial price to hopefully make it easier for customers to participate. Also, one of the things in the works that will hopefully happen this summer is a joint program with SoCal Gas. Currently, while customers can get the full amount of the rebates for both base and advance, there are separate application processes. So we're working hard to make it so there's only one application the contractor has to submit for both rebates, and then we'll worry about the accounting on the back end. And finally, and I know that this will excite several of you, is that we are working diligently to allow customers with propane appliances in the home to receive the electric portion of their rebates, since that's the fuel that PG&E provides. So that should be available by the end of the year, if not sooner. Go ahead to the next slide. All right, and so I know I just spit out a lot of information at you, and you probably have questions, which is why I wanted to make sure that we have plenty of time today. But also, there's some details that will be forthcoming. So you should have already received at least one notice on Monday about the launch of the program. Obviously, you're attending the second of our overview webinars. We also, next week and the following week, will be holding more detailed job processing webinars to walk you through those steps and what the requirements are. Updating the participant handbook, marketing material, and program documents to reflect these changes, although the pgne.com website has already been updated. And then for those of you working in the Bay Area, we are working with BayREN diligently to align our programs and make it as easy for customers and contractors in that shared territory. And there will be additional information coming out from them in the near future, and hopefully we can make sure that you have all the information that you need. So I believe that's the last slide. Let's see what's next. All right, yes, so questions. And as always, if you have any additional questions that we can't answer for you today or that come up later, please contact Build It Green, and they'll be able to get those answered for you. With that, why don't we go ahead and open it up for questions.
Thanks, Joanne. We do have a few questions regarding the BayREN HUP program in the 9 Bay Area counties. Can you reiterate some of the geographic specifications for that program?
Sure. So the BayREN territory where they're offering the home upgrade program, and I'd like to note there might even be some representatives on the phone, but I'd like to note that they'll be offering the home upgrade program in addition to some other programs, including a home energy advisor, assessment rebates, multifamily program, some codes and standards, which probably won't affect this group as much, and some financing as well. So those will all be rolling out, in the near future. In terms of the geography, once again, I'll kind of go visually circling the bay, starting with the North Bay, Marin County, Sonoma County, Napa County, Solano County, Contra Costa, Alameda, Santa Clara, San Mateo, and San Francisco counties.
Great, thank you very much, Joanne. The next question submitted is this program available in the cities of Ukiah and Healdsburg?
So I believe both of those areas have municipal utility districts that provide the electricity, similar to areas like Sacramento, Modesto, Turlock, etc., Alameda. And in those areas, it is available as long as at least one fuel is provided by PG&E, so that would probably be the gas, in which case the customers are eligible for almost every measure except the electric-only measures, which would include the electric, storage, water heaters, and the AC. They should be eligible for all the other measures.
Great. Thank you very much, Joanne. The next question is, can existing FLEX projects currently in progress in Alameda and Sonoma transfer into the home upgrade program for completion with Bay Ren?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer for that, as that's a call that Bay Ren will need to make, but I'd encourage you to reach out to the county that you're working with and discuss with them the timing and what makes the most sense. And I'm sure that they'll work with you to make sure that you get what's best.
Great. The next question, Joanne, is when can contractors start using the home upgrade program?
That's a great question. So it's officially out there as of Monday. Obviously, until we have the job submission webinars, you probably won't be able to actually submit anything, and probably behooves you to make sure that you have all the details. But you can start having conversations, certainly, and encourage with your sales folks. Start having conversations with any customers that you think this would be a good option for.
Thank you, Joanne. The next question is, will Bay Ren also have a $2,500 rebate potential?
Yes, that is my understanding. They will have the same tiered incentive levels.
Great. The next question, Joanne, is, can you explain in more detail how this program will work in the SMUD area? What measures will qualify and which will not?
Sure, that's a great question. And actually, we've already had some initial discussions and plan to work even more closely with our peers at SMUD to ensure that customers and contractors can leverage both programs. So since for SMUD PG&E customers where we provide the gas and they provide the electricity, the only measures that customers would not be eligible from the home upgrade program would be electric storage water heaters and air conditioners. Everything else would have the same points and rebate level associated with it. And we highly encourage you and have designed this in a way so that it would be easy for you to leverage both SMUD and PG&E's rebate program to maximize the savings for your customer.
Thank you, Joanne. The next question is about homes with multiple HVAC systems. If a home has two HVAC systems and they are replacing both systems, providing that they meet the requirements, will the homeowner get additional points for that second replaced system?
Yes, so the PG&E Home Upgrade Program, they can receive, if they have two systems, they can receive those points twice. Obviously, we just need documentation and that there are two systems.
Thank you. The next question is, do we have to pre-test the duct system?
If you plan to install, or if you plan to have duct sealing as a measure in the scope of work and that you're requesting a rebate for, then yes, you would have to get the current or pre-work duct leakage numbers. If you don't plan to have duct sealing in the scope of work, then you don't have to.
Thank you, Joanne. The next question is, what triggers going from home upgrade program to the advanced home upgrade program?
That's a good question. So both are options for customers, assuming the contractor is eligible to provide both. So it's really a conversation with a decision with the customer and with your own business model in terms of what you offer. Obviously, in general, I would think that larger retrofits would probably go through advanced because you do have higher incentives that allow for kind of that higher level of work that's being done. I would still encourage if a customer is interested, they don't know what they need necessarily, there needs to be that, there's still definitely options and a place for diagnostic testing to really determine what that home needs or what a problem, where a problem is located. So, if it's really up to the individual contractor to work with their customers to determine what's best. But if you start with a home upgrade or thinking you're going to do a home upgrade and then decide to go advanced, there could be a challenge if you didn't get all the testing information ahead of time. However, if you're planning to do advanced, you do a comprehensive assessment and then decide to go with home upgrade, there really shouldn't be any problem because you already have all the information that you need.
Thanks, Joanne. The next question is 250 points the maximum number of points allowed in the home upgrade path?
That's a great question. So maybe, Melina, if you could go back to that slide with the different points and incentive levels. 250 points is not the maximum number of points you can get, but $2,500 is the maximum rebate you can get. So if you do a lot of work, you could potentially, add up to 300, 350, 400 points, but the rebate would only be up to 2,500 because we really still want to focus those deeper comprehensive retrofits going to the advanced path.
Thanks, Joanne. I do want to encourage all those on the line, if you still have questions, please submit them now. Joanne, I'll just continue with the next question.
Okay.
What if the ducts have ACM material on them and you can't do a pressure test, but you are sealing them as part of the scope of work?
That is a very good question. So obviously, if you can't test them due to asbestos or other reasons, you can't test them. It's going to cause a challenge for participation in the home upgrade program, although we can still leverage that in advance, but we can kind of take those on a case-by-case basis. Anytime that there is something out of the ordinary, encourage you to always take pictures and document it. And if you're really not sure, to contact Build a Green, and we can walk you through what it means for that job and help you get the best solution.
Great, thank you. The next question is, what is the contact information for BayREN, and when will the point sheets and additional data be available?
Great question. So in terms of contact for BayREN, we'll be trying to get that information out as soon as possible, and we'll be sending that out to the distribution list and have that available. I don't have that currently, so I'll make that an action item for myself to get you that. The second was, when will the points and I guess forms and whatnot be available. So you've seen the points and the points by measure, and those are and this presentation deck will be available online with the slides. The actual forms that you'll be using, as I mentioned earlier, some of them are actually the same, like the combustion appliance testing form, acknowledgement form. You already have those. Some of the other forms will be forthcoming and be part of that training that's offered on the 13th and 18th for the PG&E territory with the home upgrade program.
Thank you. The next question is, will the conversion to energy savings be provided?
We can. We are working on a tool that will help better display that so customers can prioritize. Right now, since it's on a kind of, all of it's going to be on a dean percentage, so there are averages, and it's not going to be precise. I would always recommend not guaranteeing an energy that that any energy savings is guaranteed, because obviously that depends on behavior and the installation and the way that the customers use their home. But I can have that as an action item to try to get out some more details on what that might equate to.
Thank you, Joanne. The next question I may need additional information on. To the person on the line that submitted this next question, we may need additional information. But Joanne, I think what the attendee is asking is, when they're changing an HVAC system out, they're already required to test the duct system. And for the home upgrade program, they don't quite understand the need to test the ducts before the work gets started. I may need additional information from the attendee on the line.
Yeah, so that so whoever wrote that, you could maybe type in some more information. I'll try to answer what I think it might be getting to. Is the measure is required, the ceiling is required ahead of time to verify what the pre-existing condition was and what the post-condition was. And yes, for new installations, duct sealing is required, which is, so it's kind of a bonus that you're getting credit for doing that. Not really sure if that answers the question or not.
I'll let you know if we get more information. Thank you.
Okay.
The next question, Joanne, is how long do you think this new program, the home upgrade program, will be available?
Oh, that is a great question. So in the recent California Public Utilities Commission decision that includes the 2013 to 14 cycle, which we're currently in, they made a 10-year commitment to Energy Upgrade California. So the program in general, the utilities will continue to promote comprehensive energy upgrades. This program, as designed, will likely evolve and improve over time, but I don't see an official end date in sight.
Great, thank you, Joanne. The next question we have is the pre and post results, do the pre and post results need to be reported?
The pre and post results need to be reported for duct sealing, air sealing, and for combustion safety testing. For other measures, they do not.
Thank you. And that was the last question submitted so far. To everyone on the line, if you have additional questions, please take a moment now to submit them using the questions box in the GoToWebinar panel. Joanne, did you want to take a moment to say anything else about the program?
Yeah, while we're waiting to see if anyone else has any questions, I just wanted to, one, thank you all for attending this webinar with us. I'm really excited about this program and what it means for home performance, what it means to increase, the happiness, health, comfort, satisfaction of our customers. So hopefully you're as excited and see the potential in this program as I do. We are just launching. With anything new, there's going to be some things that we need to work out and that we can improve upon. So please continue to provide us with feedback, and we're happy to evolve and try to incorporate those suggestions as we move forward to make this as good of a program as we possibly can.
Great, Joanne. We do have one additional question submitted.
Okay.
What if the pre-test results on the duct system is below 10% already?
Then you have a very unique home. But unfortunately, if it's already below the measure minimum, then there won't be you won't be eligible for that incentive.
And Joanne, just to clarify, they would be able to select a different measure or different base measure. Is that correct?
Sure, exactly.
Great, thank you. The next question we have submitted, Joanne, is regarding insulation. Is there a maximum R value for insulation?
There's not a maximum R value. As mentioned on that measure sheet, it's R30, except in certain climate zones where it's R38. But as much as the customer is willing to pay and it's safe to install, I'd encourage, obviously going higher for greater efficiency.
Thanks, Joanne. I received additional information regarding that question. Is there a max R value on the pre-existing condition? So in the home, is there a qualifying amount of R of insulation that a home cannot meet or makes it ineligible for that measure, similar to the 10% duct leakage?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So if, for example, they already have R19 or R20 or R25. So the measure, as you can recall, is attic insulation and air sealing. So as long as the R value is not equal to or higher than the new measure, and obviously the air sealing is done, then that's fine. But if it's already higher than R30, then it wouldn't be eligible.
Thanks, Joanne. That was the last question submitted for the time being. Once again, we are approaching the end of the webinar, so to those still on the line, please submit your questions, and we'll take them as they come in. So Joanne, no questions have been submitted just yet. I don't mind waiting a few more minutes for any last-minute questions, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, we'll give a couple more minutes, and then if no one else has questions, we'll give you back 15 minutes.
Yeah, and then the contact information for Build It Green is on the screen. Myself and my colleague Alexandra Angel answer extension 606 here at Build It Green. And then we also manage the jobs@builditgreenutility.org email address. So if there are any outstanding questions after the webinar, myself and my colleague Alex will do our best to answer your questions after the webinar. Joanne, we did get an additional question submitted, and I think this is regarding those pre-existing conditions for the home. It's regarding air sealing. Are there any limits if the house is already really tight or has already met the building airflow standard?
So the reductions are 15% or 30% from the building vintage tables. So if they already are at that level that we're prescribing, then they wouldn't be eligible for the incentives for that. However, if there was incremental sealing that could be done, then they'd be eligible. And there'll be more details coming out with the contractor handbook on the more detailed specifications than what was included on that earlier slide.
Thank you, Joanne. So the next question we had submitted, I think it revolves around enrollment. The question is, do we need to sign up again if we are already part of the Flex package? And this may be regarding some of the existing Flex programs around the Bay.
So that's a great question. So a couple things. So for PG&E's program, all existing and contractors that are in good standing are eligible to participate. If you're a FlexPath participant, that most likely means you're located within the Bay Ren region, and they may have some certain specifications that you might meet, such as a different agreement or different training to get you familiar with their program. I can't speak for them in terms of exactly what that will be, but from the PG&E perspective, if you're already participating contractor in good standing, then you don't need to do any additional items.
Thank you, Joanne. That was the last question submitted up until now.
Okay, well, sounds like we've answered hopefully most of your questions. Please do keep tuned. Make sure to check your emails and attend those future job processing webinars. And thank you for your time, and hopefully we can make this program a big success. So thanks.